Good morning to one and all. Today is the episode 6 of the Change Makers Talk Show, and the topic we have chosen is business today and business tomorrow. And why did we start this, Change Makers Talk Show? Is the reason behind starting this talk show was there are so many change makers, around, in and around us. We meet them every day. We read them, but since all of us like-minded people, we all like Randhira sir, Bilal sir, and Tejas sir, we all met to together and decided to get a platform, something like this, only dedicated to the people who wants to change the society. So we came up this idea, and it has been successfully running from last this is the episode 6 of the talk show, and we're very happy. And I would like to welcome you all to the episode 6 of the Change Makers Talk Show, Business Today and Business Tomorrow.
Thank you, Sadhya, for a wonderful introduction to the platform. I also welcome my co-host today, Mr. Bilal, and Tejas DP and Satyakirti. And I, Kranti Raj, I'm the convener of this talk show series, and we have named it as With the Society. And dear participants and also the guests, it's up today. And I take this opportunity to welcome our the guest for today, Mr. Shekar Rajan. Mr. Shekar Rajan, he holds a Bachelor's of Engineering degree in Industrial Engineering and Management from University of Bangalore. And sir also holds PG Diploma in Training and Development from American Society of Training and Development. And sir is the CEO of Kickstart Football Academy and Foundation, which is based in Bangalore, which is the second best professional football club in Karnataka. It has around 700 youths training under this academy. This club play professional league in India. This club has a tie-up with the very famous Borussia Dortmund Football Club of Germany, and this club is also in alliance with Dutch Football Club SBC for international cooperation. Along with the football, Sir is also the founder and director of Atmosphere Company. It is known for transformational approach to training, consulting, and leadership development programs since 2004. Mr. Shekar Rajan has also supported many underprivileged children through fundraising efforts for education and sports. And Sir has also trained many industries, namely airline industry.
I think we should go ahead with all that. That's fine. I don't want it to be very long. It's good. Thank you so much for the nice introduction. I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Sir,
It's muted.
Are you audible?
Yeah, now you are.
Yeah.
We welcome you to the show, sir.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And the second guest we have today, Mr. Bharath Rajanna. Mr. Bharath Rajanna is an MBA graduate from Acharya Institute of Bangalore, and he also holds executive education course from IISc Bangalore, and also executive course on business analytics and big data from IIM Kashipur. Mr. Bharath Rajanna is a founder and CEO of EduPinnacle company, which is founded in 2014 and rented services to make students and professionals corporate ready. The company is also into alliance with Ramaya Institute of Management Studies, Acharya Institute of Management Studies, the VTU, MES Institute of Management Study, PLE Institutes, and many. Some of the corporate claims to Mr. Bharath Rajanna's firm are Future Group, Bata India Private Limited, and EduLead Private Limited. Sir has also been awarded by Federation of Karnataka Chambers of Commerce, Government of Karnataka, and VTU for the best business plan. He has also bagged Young Entrepreneur Award by National Foundation of Entrepreneur Development, Chennai. Sir is also awarded by Tata First .NET NEN in category of Best Startup at 7th position all over India. It's a privilege to have Mr. Bharath Rajanna on our platform today on behalf of the audience as well as the the host today, I welcome Mr. Bharath Rajanna to our show.
Thank you so much, Kantiraj. Thank you so much.
And we have one more guest today, Miss Varshitha R. And she is the managing director of Kalyani Hotels Mysore. And she has come up with a new venture with the name of Easy Tindi, which is also ventured into cake making. It's a privilege to have Miss Varshitha R on our show.
Thank you, sir.
The participants as well as the panel today. I welcome Ms. Varshitha to our platform. Very warm welcome, Varshitha.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
And let us start today's discussion about business today and business tomorrow by kickstarting this program with our CEO of Kickstart Football Club, Mr. Shekar Rajan sir.
Yes.
Shekar Rajan sir.
Yeah.
From all the way from being an.
Yeah. I think your video is buffering.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. From all the way from engineering background and starting from into training, consulting, and leadership development, and moving into football and starting and making it into one of the best football clubs in the state of Karnataka. So, can you take us through the atmosphere, geography, and demography of it?
Yeah. Basically, I like every other middle class in the 1993. I don't remember 93 or 94. I've lost track of time. Every parent wants their children to be an engineer or a doctor or things like that. But my family wanted me to be in medicine. I was not interested at that point in time. However, now I am. But yeah, that's how it started. Finished my engineering, then got into consulting straight away. I got a job in Singapore, and I was very strong in industrial engineering, so it kind of gave me that push. But moved into training within my second month of my job, and not second month, third month. Then I thought it's a new passion that I found because my communication skills were decent enough to do time management module for Singapore Airlines. That's where it started, and then no looking back, 2.5 years there, and then I went to US to do my certification because I thought furthering your education is important. So I did my, from ASTD, I did my diploma. Then I went to UK, I did another diploma. These are all PG diplomas those days from the University of Hull. I came back, got engaged, and then without a job. Then I got married after I got a job in Manipal. Oh, it just happened in a sequential manner. I was heading learning and development there at Manipal, a green horn, and wanting to do a lot of things at Manipal, and very ambitious, too much drive. Set up the team. We had about 24, 25 trainers and assistant managers and everything. Went on very well, and then the transitioning happened. From there, I moved to ITC. I had the option to join Infosys, Wipro, or ITC. I preferred ITC because it's very close to my home. Then after which, 8 months, I think I lost patience with ITC, I guess. Then started my atmosphere. Worked with some of the biggest companies, turned them to become number one in the CSAT, did a lot of leadership development, did a lot of leadership coaching and, for mid and senior level across verticals and all that. And then because football is in the blood, dad and brother are national level footballers, and they've accomplished a lot in their own fields. I never wanted to get into my dad's shadow ever. But my second name follows me. I think if I go into the Karnataka Football Association, everybody knows me as Rajan's son. So we started this academy, predominantly wanted to be an academy to train people, and then in JP Nagar, of all the blues, people were saying, why are you landing in a place called Jambo Savari Dinne? Like, Jambo Savari Dinne, because many of them could not comprehend or understand. So I think Bangalore has grown. It's really exploded. It's not grown. So now that academy is almost 4 years old. Then we have another facility we put up, a world-class facility at Kalyan Nagar. So we are ensuring that we get the best of infrastructure. And in the process, we also are ready with our residential academy. The men's team happened, the under-19 happened. We started working with a lot of underprivileged kids we have a Kickstart Foundation which focuses only on underprivileged children, and we at one point in time we had about 1,200 kids. And I was running around for corporate funding and all those kind of things. It was very challenging for us for CSR funds and things like that. Then we put our money. We put a team together. Under 18, we took them to Holland, and that's where big history happened. And then we got recognized, and then the entire core team of this under 18, under 19 guys, they are still with us. The core is with us, and that's how we built Kickstart FC. And Kickstart FC this year has been the undefeated runners-up. We just lost by one draw. By a single point, we lost to BFC. Otherwise, we would have been champions. No regrets. Then we started the women's thing parallelly, and then women straight away, Karnataka Women's League, we are the champions. Then IWL, we finished third in the group stage. So too many things happening in very short time for us. It's just hardly 2016 or 2020. 2020 is completely discounted now. So if you technically look at it, it's almost just 3 years that we've been in full operation, and then we've achieved a lot. So this is the entire journey in a nutshell. Sorry, I took a long time.
No, not a problem. You have much more time, you can add some more information what about the Kickstart FC, and especially with respect to that of the women team that you are handling. What motivated you to get into the starting women football team?
When we went to Holland, we were in a company called ASML, Advanced Semiconductors. They invited us because our partnership is with a club in Holland called SBC. And these guys took us to this company trying to source some funds for us from the CSR, trying to, sell the fact that we have, youngsters who are coming and playing there. So when we went to ASML, there's somebody who said in one of the directors of ASML, and predominantly 40% are Indians in that company. And a lot of Karnataka, North Karnataka, South Karnataka, Mysore people, and a lot of youngsters are there. It was very inspiring to see them there. They, in fact, told me they started a project in Kenya. And this company has invested a lot in Kenya, where they trained about 20,000 girls in football. And what happens when a girl plays the game is that she gets very confident. She's able to, project herself in a very positive way. And a lot of transformation happens to the girl. So for for us, that was the thought that was running at the back of our mind. And then suddenly, out of the blue, we had Kalidas who approached us and who visited us. Was very happy. He had a big track record of having a lot of achievements in the women's thing. He himself has put about 4 players in UK. So he's done a lot of work in Tamil Nadu. Fortunately, Tamil Nadu's loss is Karnataka's game. So we put a women's team very quickly in a matter of just 1.5 months. And then I think we made a champion side. So, and then we are very inspired because the girls who have come in, and a lot of North Karnataka girls and quite a few Bangalore girls were there with us. Very, very inspiring, very down to earth. They also understand the challenges of football at this point in time, which is still not mature, but it will mature very fast now. It will mature very fast, and because the Women's World Cup is going to be held in India, I think it's postponed to next year. Dates are still debatable. So I think the basic fundamental thing is women empowerment. We need powerful women to build a powerful society. So that's the crux of it.
Great work, sir. I appreciate what you're doing. And can I have Mr. Bharath Rajanna? Mr. Bharath Rajanna, you started education, training, and I would rather call it as a bridge building, a company, a very big one in what motivated you from being MBA graduate and to start up this particular firm? And what were the ground realities before starting this particular?
Okay, so first of all, good morning to all of you, and it was great listening to you, sir, Shekar sir, about what all you have done so far.
Namaskar.
So to tell about myself,
no big deal.
So tell about myself, I'm a first generation entrepreneur. So to be simple, first generation entrepreneur means in my entire family, nobody does business. I'm the first one to start something to do business. My grandfather is there into farming. My father is a police constable. So none of them know how to do a business at all. So that's a middle class background I come across from. And how this all started, how the kick of all this got started is in everybody's life, you're gonna learn a lot of things when you fail, right? So So that's the failure which has taught me in my second PUC. As sir said, and everybody's parents want them to become an engineer, a doctor, right? Same way, even my parents wanted me to become an engineer, but the science didn't go into my head at that point of time. So I flunked in second PUC. So that failure of 1 year in PUC, what I had to stay back at home, taught me a lot of things that life is not as simple as we think. We have to get serious somewhere. So that phase of 1 year taught me that failure teaches you a lot. So I say always say to everybody, if any point of time you fail, you should go back and celebrate because you have learned something which you would have never learned if you have won, right? So from there, after as you asked me how this all entrepreneurship and all started, in our college days, we used to do a lot of activities for entrepreneurship events, e-weeks we used to conduct for Tata First, .NEN and all. So that's where I got introduced to there's something called as entrepreneurship. I couldn't even spell entrepreneur. Sometimes I used to say entrepreneur, entrepreneurs. I couldn't even spell it correctly, right? So the concept I understood there, where I met a person called Sudhir Kant. So he said that Bharath, if you want to become an entrepreneur, no, so you have to be ready to sleep on a floor, ready to eat bread and jam, go to work for 18 hours a day on Saturdays, Sundays, every day. So it is a 365 days, 24/7. You should work. That's the entrepreneurship is needed. So it was not still serious at that point of time. So where actually it got into my mind was one day I read a newspaper where it said, almost 75% of Indian youth is not, employable. They don't have proper skills to be employable, right? So I thought that's not a big deal. Somewhere we could make a change. Somewhere we could bring something where we can add value. So our first idea was to start a magazine so that we can educate all my classmates. So my idea was to make beautiful weekly magazines. So I make the magazine which has all the general knowledge, all the business news, everything, and give it to my classmates. So that's how the idea got started, right? And today we don't even do the magazine. So the point to tell you is when you start something, it doesn't mean that, that's the final product you're going to sell forever. So whatever you're going to start, that may not be getting you some money at all. But, coming back to the question what you asked, the spark gave us was that motivation of helping people where it made changes in a lot of people's life, right? So as of today, we have trained more than 20,000 students, and the best thing about all this is, a couple of students, whenever I go outside before this pandemic and all happened, whenever we used to go outside, so a couple of students used to come to me and say, sir, I was your student, I'm working at this particular place. And because of that training, what you gave us, the Excel analytics, the pre-placements, whatever we do. So I've got a job, I'm working, and I'm very thankful for that, right? So those words keep on motivating us a lot. So that's a small gist of journey of mine, what I would like to say. And journey has been a lot of ups and downs, especially after pandemic has come, there's a lot of ups and downs. But at the end, being an entrepreneur, what I have learned is this is how the game is played, right? And always winning and losing is there. So that's about my journey, and that's what we have done so far. So I've just kept it short and sweet so that, we can continue with the session. Yeah.
Mr. Bharath, Rajan, great work you have done. And just I want to know from you. Now, you are edupinacle.co. Now, is bridging the gap between the industry and the institution from where the supply side come from. Where do you see the problem that has given you the opportunity to make use of this particular space?
Okay, so to tell about this more in detail, there's a research done that especially, for example, you join a degree course. At the starting of a degree course, what you study in the first year, by the time you pass out, it's already outdated. So technology has been growing so fast that, people have to keep on updating, right? So recently you saw that our education policy was changed for the first time in 34 years, 34 long years. So before 34 years, there was none of the jobs which is existing as of the jobs existing today. So the dynamics in education system is the updation gets very late. So that's where you see the problem between the bridge, what you call, from corporate to college, right? So basically, the more amount of thing is needed is where students can understand practicality of how things work at corporate. So they have been taught only in the book level where they know this is what data is, this is what decisions are, but they don't know how to decide. They don't know how to analyze. They don't know how to use it. So what we bring in is we help them to understand, bridge a gap between there where from the theoretical concept from what they've learned to build a gap to the practical knowledge so that they're getting up ready and started to get, job and, that's how we bridge the gap. And this is why the gap is because of the system what we have.
Okay. So you spoke about the education policy. Like, do you see the problem is with the education policy, or the problem is with the people who execute?
See, the thing is, as I come from a middle class background, so why this policy also plays a very important role is, for us, our parents and all, they've studied only till 10th standard, that's all. So they hugely depend on, if school says this, that is correct. If that is there in your book, that's what you have to do, nothing else more. I wanted to go play football, I wanted to go play cricket, but no, you have to sit and study, right? Because you have to score that 99, you have to score that 90, because, if you think back 30 years back, 20 years back, everybody had it in mind was do an engineering, do a degree, get a job, get an MNC job, or become a doctor, get settled. So nobody had an idea of doing something else extra, because that's what that generation was, right? So being as everything matters, everything is connected, is what I feel. So as things are changing nowadays because of digitally, everything is available, right? So the next gen, the millennial kids, what we call the next gen kids, so things are gonna drastically change where there'll be a lot of things. They're gonna be more fast, For example, coding is taught to school kids nowadays, right? So which most of the engineers can't even do, right? So that's how it has been drastically changing. So as you said, right? If somebody wants to learn on their own, self-education is the best thing which anybody can do. So there are many people who have studied at home. You can take many scientists, for example. They've never gone to college, they've degree, but they have done marvelous jobs. But majority of chunk is there in the system, is what I mean to say.
Okay. At the age of 27, Mr. Bharath Rajanna achieving this milestone, it's a very great achievement. What I
It was
believe.
a small journey
Thank you
we have
very much
gone
for
through.
giving the insight to like Pinnacle.com. And let's coming to Miss Varshitha R. And Varshitha R. She is the managing director at Kalani Hotels. Like now, what now India is known as the hub of the startups. Varshitha. Like you are into a new startup, with the name of EasyTP, and you are also into this the hotel business, and how difficult it is to transform a family-owned business into the modernized one, or the trendy one.
So, hello everyone. Hello, sir. Okay, I'm too young to share my experience as such, but I would like to explain how I put into this place firstly. So, after my dad's untimely demise, I was unfortunately able to take this because I didn't think it would come to my plate so early. So, I took the charge with my mother and other relatives as such. So, after starting to be one of the main decision maker, it has been very difficult for me because I was too young, wherein people used to address me, "Hey, kid, how are you been? A long time no see at the hotel." And now I have to guide them, and I have to take in charge. I have to tell them this is to be done. So it was very difficult for me. And to the point you said, changing the family business into modernized one, I think it takes a big, like a huge responsibility because it is so many things involved. I had to take my uncle's coordination with this because I was very young to do all these things and to make them understand what is the importance of the change. So that was like a truly difficult task for me. And so it has been happening since 3 years, and I think I'm doing pretty well. Yeah. And if you ask me how it is difficult at this time, at this pandemic time, don't ask me. So it is, I think ours is the most hardly hit industry for hospitality. And with that, our Easy Tindi, it is very new. It is an infant baby. We just started a year ago and it was doing like fabulously well. So at this point of time, it is all vanished. So there is no business. And I have to think what is the new strategies we have to use to get back in track. So that is how.
Shida, hope the things are going to be okay soon. And
Yeah.
uh, like to get into this, your new venture, Easy Hindi and into cake making. What made you to get into this particular space?
Okay, so that is actually again my dad's ambition to create one nice platform or a good base for people who is willing to work. Because when I'd like to say a story here. When my dad didn't do well in his academics, my grandfather was pretty sure you can do well, so go ahead with the education. But my dad thought, why don't I go and work somewhere and I can make the money like that. So my grandfather was very ambitious about his sons, and he said, you should be able to employ 50 others and please don't be an employee of someone else. So that was the thing which made my dad achieve all this. And I think that that thought of him has made me in this position now. So that was his ambition, to give employment to many others. So that like that, we have this hotel since 8 years, Hotel Kalyani, and it is a 3-star category hotel. So what I thought was everyone was not that fortunate to come and dine here or to get this quality of service. So what I thought is, why don't we make this easy to access, easily available to people of that category. So here at Easy Tindi, we sell idli at rupees 10 and dosas at rupees 20. So that was the idea. What I thought, okay, if there is a mass business, I can manage the cost. I can handle all the prices. So I think this should be happening. And to my surprise, it done really great. And we used to do business pretty well. So that was it.
Okay, no, great, Varshitha. And wish you the best one. Now coming to Shekar sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Tejas has got a question now.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining for the show. So, I would like to welcome Mr. Kalidasan sir, Director of Women's Football Development, Kickstart FC, and Head of Finance, Mr. Rajan sir, also on this show. We welcome you, sir. Yes. Sir, Shekar sir, I have a question for you. So,
Yeah.
Say starting from you started a Kickstart Foundation. So what made you say, what is the advantage of getting that foundation, football foundation, to your business structure or a business venture?
Yeah. So I was aware of the CSR law very well, and actually, if you see any sport, especially football, is played at the slum level, and most of the people, I mean, my dad was a freedom fighter's son who became an orphan at 4 and was dumped into poverty with no food to eat. So he started, the only survival for him was football. He was studying in a corporation school, then went on to do his diploma in electrical, in broken bits and pieces. But the crux of the thing is, world over, you see Lionel Messi, you see Ronaldo, you see every great footballer, they are the guys with the thirst and the hunger to play, right? So the actual talent comes from the underprivileged sections of society. Unfortunately, there is no support system for that. So if you want to have a proper support system, you can't take a profitable company's profits and pump into the social cause. So that is the idea of starting the foundation. And the president of the Kickstart Foundation, with a clear vision only to do free coaching and free empowerment for the slum kids, is headed by Satyanarayana. And Satyanarayana is known to us for the last 6-8 years. And he is a very accomplished, journalist at a global level, was with the Gulf News and all that. So he had this dream. So when we started finding the talent was like a huge repository. Similarly for every sport, because I'm in football, so I can relate to it. I was an athlete, so I can relate to the poorer boys and girls who used to run from Tamil Nadu and, who don't have a proper structure, don't have a support system. Talent is not an issue in this country. Definitely not. We are 1.3 billion people. So we can't say that we don't have talent. We have tremendous amount of talent, and we know there is a big thing out there. So, but then to start this thing, to get to identify the real talent, that's why we started the foundation. So that's doing this.
Thank you. And there's one more question to you. Like, you have a tie-up with Borussia Dortmund of Germany as well as the Dutch football club SBC. Like, what difference that you see between those countries and India when it comes to these kind of operations?
Yeah. See, SBC is a mature relationship. We are already tied up with them for the last 3 years. 2018 beginning, no, 2018. Yeah, 2018 in the month of February, we formally tied it up. But then we had the tie-up earlier also. My partner and head coach of Kickstart is certified from Holland. He's a chartered accountant. His name is Lakshman. So we had him go there, and then he was like completely taken aback with the kind of quality that was there. I've traveled a lot, not for football, but then for my management consulting and all those assignment kind of a thing. But when I got into football, when we went and seen the top club,
Connection is good. Connection. I think we are unable to hear Shekar Rajan. And we'll wait with Shekar.
is top class. They have 5 football grounds. Hello, you lost me?
Yes, sir. Yes, now we can. There was a problem with the audio.
You can hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So what I was saying is the municipal of that particular small village has taken the entire cost. So if you go to Europe, the local municipal puts a lot of investment in infrastructure. Today, that is the challenge. First is the infrastructure. Second is the qualitative training. I think, unfortunately, if you look at our history in sports, we've had champions. We've had India almost in 1948, we had a 2-1 draw with France. Okay. And when my dad was playing for the country, I think a lot of smaller countries were scared to play with us. The Thailands of the world and the Singapores and all were not even existing, right? So what I'm saying is we have a problem with the way we are managing sports per se in this country. And second is the infrastructure. So if you sort these 2 things out, I think we're on top of the game.
Thank you, sir. And Bilal has a question.
Yeah. Again, I welcome everyone, and my question is for Mr. Bharath. So, Mr. Bharath, yeah, you are into training. Now, you come up as bridging a gap between institutions and, the requirements of the companies. But when you entered in, I actually want to understand the challenges you faced, in terms of from the institutional heads, from the colleges, because, colleges are not actually willing to, accept that there is a gap. And again, from the students, because students, again, they want to finish their degree, they want to, get their graduation and get out of the college. So bringing this extra value, even though it's a value, how is it to make them understand, both the institutional heads and the students? How was it?
Okay, so to answer your question, so let me tell you about few things first, right? So how it was for us when we started was we were freshers. We didn't have any experience when we started. So I said, we just started right after MBA, we just started doing this. So I said the first idea was to do magazines, right? So we went and met a lot of the possible clients, potential clients, right? Almost more than 150 to 200 colleges we went and met. So believe me or not, out of that, 60% of them threw us away. So they said, don't come, right? So we thought, why is that, right? Then other 40% of them, in that, a lot of them gave us inputs, right? Why don't you do this? This is what is required, right? Our customers only told us basically is what is their required, what is their requirement. So as I say in entrepreneurship, what we have learned is listening skills is very important. You should always listen to your customers. So listening to your customers helps you to understand your business very well. So that's what has helped us in a very big scale. So a lot of them have thrown us away also. They've told us, don't even come, Bharath. It's not required. In 2014, 15, right? So and a couple of them were very good. Where they asked us, who are you and how did you start all this? And because startup is all boom, from last, you see from last 5 years, it's all everywhere it's happening in India. Startup. They were happy that like students are doing all this. So they told us this is how the segment is. So basically, as it comes to students are never serious. So apart from if there's 50 kids in 50 students in a classroom, out of that 10 may be serious. Other 40, maybe they're just going for the sake of doing it, right? They only realize it when the placement starts. When the placement starts, they realize that I don't have this skill, I don't have this, I should have done it at that time. But the moment they lose that first interview or second interview, they got depressed where I can't crack it. Their self-confidence goes for a toss, right? And as for college is concerned, colleges, most of there are few colleges who do a lot of efforts in other courses. But as you see nowadays, placements becoming competitive. So because for colleges also, if students don't get placed, for example, as a parent, if anybody goes, if they want to join their student to a college, first thing they're gonna see is if my student studying this college, will he get a placement or not? Will he get a job or not? And if he get a job, what is the package of job he's gonna get in this college? That's what they're gonna see. So placements has become a big criteria for colleges also, where it has become a pressure and for them also to where they give placements for the students they join, because next year their admissions have to happen. That's how it the system itself helps us to design ourselves, module, customize ourselves to fit into there where couple of skill gaps which they couldn't meet. So they have hired us to train on those particular skill gaps which we have been helping couple of colleges, couple of clients to do. Where they've seen drastic results, which is helping their students. Even that there was one competition where our students have even defeated the IMs of the South India competition segment in the finance competition. So, what I would say is, you have to always listen to your client. So a gap is always there. Whichever problem you get into, so either the students and either the corporate end, you should listen to them and try to connect it. That's where you find your solution. That's what we have been trying to do. And from magazines, we have come up to training up to the machine learning is what we train up to today. So a lot of possibilities. Always listen to your clients. They're gonna tell you a lot of things. So that's what we have learned.
Thank you.
That's how it's helping to bridge the gap.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And Varshitha, coming to Varshitha now. Like now, when it comes to the hotel business, you have expanded the business model. I need to say, like now, I clearly see there's a vertical integration model that is visible. Like now, when expanding this into the same business line, spreading into many areas, like what made you to expand that, and what difficulties that you faced in expanding the hotel industry with the model of that vertical integration?
So you're not quite audible to me.
Yeah, I see when it comes to your hotel industry, I see a clear the visibility of the vertical integration model of business. Like from hotel, you started with a hotel you started many other activities too. Like what made you to connect with those models, addition models to hotel industry business, and how difficult it was? Like you came up
I'm so
with.
sorry. Actually, it's not audible. One moment.
Hello, can you hear, Varshitha?
One moment, sir.
Yeah.
One moment.
We'll get back to Varshitha. Over to Siddhakirti. Sir, yeah. Sir, I want to ask you a question. We have seen the changes in education system now, and I want to ask your opinion. How are you? Because since you are in the education industry from a very long time, I see because since we are also into the education sector. Are you convinced with whatever the new education policy has been? Are you convinced with that, or were you expecting any more, changes to be made? Any good things happening in this policy?
Okay. So to answer your question, let me tell you, I'm not very much experienced. We're only 5 years old yet, so we are a very small.
Sir, 5 years is a lot of experience.
Half a decade. Yeah.
Vast experience to comment, but out of the thing what we have gone through, as I said earlier, education policy which has got changed recently after 34 years, which is a good move, which should keep on happening. Quite instead of 34 years, if they have 5 years once or 10 years, at least 5 years once will be very good. And again, to answer your question, what I feel is, the education starts at home, right? So whatever education, whoever teaches you, it's the parents who teach you first. They're the first your parents, your first guru whom you're gonna take, right, right. So what I would say is nowadays everything is available, right? So there's nothing new. Everything is there on YouTube. Everything is there on Google. Everything is there, right? For example, if I say I'm gonna teach you something online and I'll teach you this analytics, I'm gonna teach you this Excel. Maybe some 10 will enroll. Maybe I will say you that I'll host this new movie in my this one if you come. Thousands of them will come. But if it's learning, not even 10 will come, right? So that's the attitude with us where we have a lot of chalta hai attitude, which somewhere awareness have to be done for students where they're self-aware that the time what they have, the precious time what they have. You won't believe we have trained MBAs in a couple of colleges. They don't know how to open their Gmail. They don't know how to open their Gmail. I have literally taught them what is a Gmail and how to open it. They're doing it at MBAs. And we was in one of the class I was teaching somebody in Excel. They don't know how to copy paste, right? These are MBAs I'm talking about, right? So why this happen? And they know how to use Instagram. They know how to use Snapchat. They know how to each and options of Facebook. They know everything. They're gonna teach me. They're gonna teach me which is that new rapper song which has come out. But what I'm trying to say is that they have got distracted a lot, where they don't know where to put their time. The enjoyment is good always, right? So what I feel is when you want to learn something, maybe sports, maybe music, maybe any kind of skill, you should devote yourself to learn it passionately. That's how you're gonna learn, right? So whatever you're gonna learn, always have to practice. So what we do is today we get motivated, we go and learn something. Tomorrow we leave it off. Again, after 1 year, I'll realize, oh, I know swimming. I've done it 1 year back. I am very expert in that. So you're wrong. Sorry, you're not. Because from 1 year, you've not practiced. So that's where one problem or this thing I think among everyone, what we do, that we don't value the time what we have, and a lot of distractions, and maybe some couple of awarenesses. We also always tell to students, make them aware why time is very important, why they have to invest in themselves, either to read or do anything they love, maybe sports, maybe music, whatever it is. They have to invest time in that, right? So there's a small story, if I have time, I can tell you that. So there was this famous painter, he had 30 years of experience, 30 years of experience in painting. So one lady, one day, one lady with her daughter, she went and she asked, can you please draw a picture of, you're such a great painter. Can you please draw a picture of my daughter? So what he does is he takes a sheet of paper and he just scribbles in 1 minute, and the painting is done. Then she's very happy seeing the painting, and what she does, she thanks him and she starts walking. And he calls her back and he says her that will cost you so much. That will cost you, for example, $1 million. That painting cost you $1 million. So she's shocked. Why should I pay you $1 million for this small picture which you did in 1 minute? So that he says that to do this in 1 minute, I have practiced for 30 years. To do this in 1 minute, I practiced 30. This is none other than Picasso. This is the story of a small thing of Picasso, which I told you. So that's how we don't practice what we do, or we don't try to upskill ourselves. So once we study something, as you said, you're also into education. So one more mistake we do is we study something and we don't update it. We don't update that particular skill. So we know this is what it is, but we don't update when the new thing comes up. So we always are in that old segment. So these are the few things which I have come across, and we have always been telling to everybody, making awareness that they have to improve all this. That's for own good. So that's the few things, which points I would like to add. If it answers your question.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. My question is to Mr. Shekar, Rajanna. So it's like now between your training, consulting, and leadership development and football. Like now, what are the benefits that we get now? To give a academic touch to the sportsman, and how do you see like it's working? Like what are the areas where you can give academic touch to the sportsman?
Okay. Everything is a process. Whether you're talking about Varshitha making fantastic dosas and idlis and making money out of it, there is a key thing to it. There is a discipline of process that you need to follow. Otherwise, you end up being nowhere. I'm sure even Bharath, when he does his training, he has his entire methodology sorted. He has his entire steps, So process is very, very important. So what we tell people in the management parlay on the management languages, process is religion, data is God. So in training, in football or in anything, we have to follow a process, and the data that we get, if you don't put a numerical value to what you do, if Varshitha does a small dipstick on her hotel on customer satisfaction and why will people come back, trust me, it can be fantastic. Same goes for Bharath, because I've been in the training and consulting business for more than 20 years. So I've seen it transform. So I've seen right from basic modules like time management to the high-end stuff of emotional intelligence and 360-degree assessments and psychometric assessments of leaders. So what we need to bring in as a culture per se, we are very indisciplined. Like what Bharath said, chalta hai attitude. We don't have that efficacy, the focus for numbers, because we find it very, very difficult to get people to work with us, because our expectation is somebody completely process oriented, also be people oriented. So there are three prongs to this. One is your business intelligence. Two is your social intelligence. And the third and the most important component is your relationship intelligence. If you can manage these three, I think you're sorted. So if you ask me, in a nutshell, everything has to have a process and everything has to be measured. If you cannot measure, please don't do it. Just don't do it for the fun of it. So everything has to have a measurement. That is my take.
Like in reality,
Uh-huh.
this academic touch of your training, consulting, and etc.
Yeah.
How did you made use these into this football management?
It's pretty easy. So we are putting numbers to everything. I have checklists for everything, and I'm finding it difficult to get the right people who can follow the process, right? If you do anything with the process and the discipline. Now, for example, why would somebody want to have Varshitha's dosa in Mysore? Because it is repeatability, right? That's the first thing. It is the same quality that you give every time you repeat. And the third and the most important thing is hygiene for her. The similar thing in football. So when somebody comes into play, the coaching has to be predictable. It has to be measured. Outcomes have to be very clear. And once that is done, I think you're sorted. So this is very, very simple on the outlook. It looks very simple. I mean, I'm sure, Bharath has enough and more data where he has quantified people's presentation skills, interviewing skills and blah, blah, blah. And that's when he's able to fine tune it and refine it. And that's why he has to touch 20,000 lives in a short span of 5 years. And that's fantastic. I feel that's the key to it.
And your experience when it comes to training vast industries in the economy, from airlines to the telecom. Can you share your experience, how it was and how did you find it?
My interesting learning was with the IT companies. The telecom guys, I was with Airtel for every organization change they made. I was like a change consultant for them. They merged many companies, then they broke many companies. They shut down 1/3 of their company. So they did all this circus. And I was part of this thing, and I had the privilege of directly interacting with Sunil Bharti Mittal. So I think this happened in a beautiful place in Jaipur. So he clearly said, either you are part of the rolling change, right, or you are out of it. Because if this is an example when Reliance was launched. Reliance came up with these $500 phones, and then suddenly there was a buzz in the telecom industry saying that we should also change the price and blah blah blah. So, but Sunil, being a business leader from the front, he said, let's not do anything different. Let's stick to the quality service that we deliver. If Bharath focuses on fantastic training delivery with his trainers, and he himself he keeps moving his training business. Same with Varsha. If she keeps giving better dosa, cleaner dosa, tastier dosas, if she has tasted it even at least once or twice a week, trust me, the game is there. So across the industries, it's the same. But my biggest challenge is the IT folks. Because these guys come with very little knowledge of the world. So they think the life is a laptop, and for them that AC thing, and today it's shaken them up royally. And they are made to work from 8 to 8. So they're sitting at home, managing their wives, managing everything. So all those relationship skills and everything what we look for are getting tested. So it's not easy work from home, It's not, because people used to run away. I mean, you see the IT parks of Manyata or all those big IT parks in Bangalore where I've been literally everywhere. I used to wonder why these guys are not going home early. So it used to be a big story. That's a different thing altogether. But my crux is, if we can put a very simple, measurable metrics to everything in life, job done.
So, in your experience of training the Indian IT firms and the Indian IT employees as well as the other industries, what difference that you see?
Yeah.
I've heard you're trained Ford, General Motors, Volvo in automotive, and AMZ, Greenlace, and Citibank in banking. So, what difference that you find between the Indian IT employees and abroad, and the IT employees and the other industry?
See, not to discount the Indian uniqueness that comes into this, we are very, very adaptable. If you see the mortality rate in the world from corona, I think India is very, very low. So not many people are dying. We know how to manage. Full of positive side of what Bharath said, Jugaad. We also know how to live with the Jugaad. So we are very, very adaptable, and we can learn things fast, and it is proven. You see, all the big corporates in the world require an Indian to run the business today. So it's come to that. It's a very big feather in our cap. The pride of the Indian, Indianness is at an all-time high, if you ask me. You have Sundaram Pichai, you have Satya Nadella, you have everybody drop an Indian name in the corporate of everywhere. Be it in the marketing of Nike, you have a lot of these Indian guys all over the place, right? So we are very good. But the challenge, again, I tell you, comes in the discipline of things. I'll give you a small social example. If you're reversing your car in Mysore and in Bangalore, Mysore is a little more sane. But if you're doing it in Bangalore, we don't give a damn about who's coming, who's not coming. The social aspect, the respect of, somebody will come and put a bike right in front of your car. How are you supposed to go forward? How are you supposed to come backward? The social sensitivity is something that we lack. Maybe the urgency of the hour or whatever, I give it to them. But this sensitiveness is something that we definitely lack. So but at the same time, let me tell you, every time I did a training program in Mumbai, in the middle of the rain, in the middle of torrid rain, I would still start my training at 9 o'clock, bang. Nowhere in India I've started at the right time. So I'm saying it's not that we cannot, it's the system that drives us, right? So we need to follow that. So I think the discipline,
yeah, and the area of the difference between the IT employees and the other employees.
Pardon? Can you please?
The difference between the training to an IT employee and the employees from other industries like banking, education.
The IT guys are in a very sterile environment. With no offense to them, I think they think they've arrived. And let me tell you, there was a job called a tester's job. There used to be a testing job in the IT space. I think Bharath needs to throw some light on that. I think it's not existing anymore. Testers were supposed to be the honchos of IT at one point in time, a testing guy. Today, no jobs. Now, when it comes to AI, I think 50% of guys will get out. And let me tell you, we are producing code monkeys. I'm sorry, I'm using a very strong word. We are producing code monkeys, and coding is also getting out. Unless these guys are quick, agile, and able to adapt to the changing scenarios. Today, you see how many people at the middle level at 40, 45 plus crisis, no job. No job, boss. There's no job for them. Because you're getting your young guys who are really pushing ahead and pushing them out. Because if you can hire 3 people at the same cost, right? And today you put a project management system and the guy is sitting in US, he just does a dashboard and that's it. He's tracking you anywhere. Today, software tracking has gone to that extent. I'm going to tell you guys, the movement on your keypad, the hands on your key, how many keys you hit in a matter of minute or hours is tracked. So you can understand what they can do with you in your life. So it's changing very, very fast. So it's very important to buckle up, or you'll be left out in the race.
Thank you. Coming to Varshitha,
Yes.
I missed out there is a problem with audio. I track your hotel business, the Kalani Hotel, and I see a clear model of the vertical expansion or a vertical integration, like into lodging, into the celebrations, and give the space for the people to come and enjoy there, into bar and restaurant. Now, what made you to connect, and how difficult it was to connect in terms of everything?
To speak about the products or the services we offer here, like the restaurant, lodging, and banquet hall, to say it is like hand in hand, sir. Because people who are here to celebrate an occasion and they want to occupy the banquet, they necessarily want to accommodate. Like say if there is a wedding of 2 days, they'll have to come and reside here for a day, and next day would be the wedding. So again, they want food, so that is the restaurant. So it is hand in hand. But as to speak about the walk-ins or the tourists, so sometimes it goes seasonal. So sometimes we are good in accommodation, sometimes we are weak in the banquets, and sometimes with the restaurant. So what keeps us moving is like every day is a new day for us. So however it is off season. We try to create some seminars or something. We initiate doing it, and we get collaborated with some of the corporates or something, and we try to keep every day busy. So this is how we are managing right now. And as the topic says, business today and business tomorrow. I think for the next things after pandemic or after this, for God's grace, if it ends. So I think we should see how this integration of ours, or how the products of ours or the services of ours would work. So I am currently working out how this will happen after this.
So how is it beneficial for the hotel and your business near to the corporate firms in Mysore?
How it is? Sorry.
Your business is very near to the corporate firms in Mysore.
Yeah.
So how it is beneficial? How your work is beneficial?
Yeah. To this point, to the corporates. To say in precise, Infosys is very near to us, and I think it is biggest premises of one of the biggest premises of Infosys in India. That would be Mysore, and Infosys is actually, sir, it is already fully equipped, and they have their own seminar halls, they have their own accommodations, and they give less opportunity to the outsiders. So I think we are no of much use to them. They have their own setup made. But the other corporates are pretty well with us, and we give them off rates, like which are not our shelf prices. We completely cut them into half and help them out, or they are helping out. And at this time, actually, they are holding our hands because we have this RB, Reckitt Benson, and other companies which are actually working for the pandemic, and they are working out well. And we have their employees staying here. They have actually taken measures not to send their employees home. They are making their employees stay at a place, and it is completely supervised by them. They sanitize it, and they are taking care of it. So we are doing it in a very better prices for them. So that is how, like, it depends. So that is how RB, the company RB, and we are associated, and other corporates so and so, like how they are willing to take their part with us.
Yeah. So I have a question for Bharath sir. Sir, 10 years down the line, the industry you are in right now working. So how is the future? Like, what do you see 10 years down the line?
So 10 years down the line, if I see like what changes happened after computers were introduced for the first time. So, there was a drastic change of everything went digital. So which gonna go 20x more in next 10 years. So which, even with the 5G coming in. So as sir was saying, they even track your keypad and all. So in future, what's gonna happen in education sector is everything is gonna get digital. And if at all you're not good at the digital skills, coding is also quite a fit. It will also go away because a lot of software which has come up, it's like a plug and play. So you don't even have to code. You can just use it like a plug and play module. So as you have to be agile and you have to be but flexible to the change, and you have to update your knowledge at whichever sector you are. And if you stop updating and if you're not disciplined in whatever you do, so it's going to be a biggest problem because it's going to change. So for example, the jobs which is available today, those jobs were not there 10 years back. So in next 10 years, there's going to be a new set of jobs, new set of rules, new set of things going to come, which is not trained as if today is concerned. So when the change is there, you have to be ready to adapt. So future is all about change. So if there is a change, you should be ready to adapt. So if you don't adapt, as sir said, like mid-level employees in their 40, 45, they lose their job because somebody, engineering background student, some new fresher will do their job at lesser cost. So instead of having a good, high-level manager paying him 50 lakh a year, they can hire 3 engineers paying them 10 lakh a year, right? So you have to be ready to change. You have to be ready to learn the new things and update yourself and be disciplined. So a future is all about digital. Future is all about collaborating. That they have been also saying, a lot of things like, even chips are gonna put into humans where they can even track you where you go. For example, if you join any big MNC company, they're gonna put a chip into you and they're gonna know what are you doing, where are you at, are you really doing the job, or are you at home working, or you're there partying somewhere. So there's a lot of interactions with MI and ML, machine learning and artificial intelligence coming up. So there are a lot of changes gonna happen. So one thing for future ready is keep on updating yourself. So you're gonna be there, and if you don't, you're out of the track. In any field.
Now, to Mr. Shekar, Rajan, our question is to Mr. Shekar.
Please.
Like now, going forward, just for business tomorrow, like where do you see, even though it's the business secrecy question, now where do you see the opportunities now for your firm, in terms of training, development, leadership development, and also when it comes to football management?
Fortunately, you cannot do training, football virtually. You need a ball, you need a ground, you need to play, you need to sweat. So some things in the world will not change. But the way we do it, as Bharath said, I think we are getting into a great deal of automation. We are tracking footballers, we're getting a lot of data. We are going to use the IT very, very well. So that is on one side. But if you ask me the kind of jobs that were there, like what Bharath was saying, everybody thought Meru cab was a great thing. Easy cab was a great thing. Today, who needs them? I mean, we have cabs waiting any which way. So the future is going to be very dynamic and very fast. So, but on the positive side, if you see, it will make us a little more agile, adaptable. That's the mantra to the whole thing. If you can't be agile, I think. So your question was, what will the future business look like for football? It will remain as it is. The other businesses are going to see a big change. Yeah, opportunity. Now you see, you have this. Nobody imagined somebody will bring your food home, like the Swiggies and the Zomatos and things like that. Nobody thought that was a business. So as we go ahead, things will change. A lot of things are. I mean, now hospitals are responding. They're coming home. They're doing even your basic checkups and all that stuff. And COVID, suddenly they thought the hospital should go to the patient. So there is a cost attached to everything and people are paying for it. For example, I mean, today is Sunday. So before the webinar, I had to go to the fish shop myself. Fortunately, I have a fish shop very close by. So I went and picked up what I really wanted and I know how to do it. I put my hand into the fish, I check it, and then, because I've been trained from childhood, like a working mom, middle class, so we know all this stuff. But what has happened is companies like Licious, Fresh to Home, changed the game completely. I mean, especially in a big city like Bangalore. And even if you see the transformation that is happening on the smaller cities and things like that is big. For example, I was with ITC when we launched eChaupal. They thought eChaupal will not work. eChaupal is one of the best concepts that has worked, for ITC. It's a fantastic, the rural mall came into existence because of them. So it's the same place where they sell their goods and buy their stuff. So they're really doing very well. It started with soya bean, and today Ashirwad has become a brand by itself. And foods, for example. And if you ask your grandparents, if your grandparents are still around, they will not allow you to. I mean, if Varshitha is there, she'll understand. They will have fresh ground, turmeric, fresh ground, pepper, and all those masalas and everything. Today, everything is in a pack. So some basic things will remain, but however, we need to better our services that we offer to people and how we're doing things. So that is the key. So a lot of things, leadership's getting exposed, business is getting exposed. So they have to, innovate. I think my internet is a little unstable. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
There was a problem.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's the key.
Okay. Now, coming to Mr. Bharath. Bharath sir, again the same question to you. Where do you see the opportunities when it comes to education training? That's like the bridging gap. What are the areas where you see still we have the opportunity and space?
So to talk about the opportunity, we are 1.3 billion in population and 60% are youth. So 60% are youth, they have to get trained. So if they have to get trained, somebody have to train them on. So that's a very big opportunity what we have, especially in India alone. So we have seen this Byju's, An Academies, Vedantu, like very big companies, very tech startups in education sector, which have been doing tremendous work, right? So education has a very, very biggest boom in the next future. So there was also a prediction done. There's going to be a company, especially in education background, which is going to even beat a lot of tech companies, it's in terms of revenue and all. Because future is all about digital. Future is all about this. So somebody is needed, to teach people on. So as everything is going online, everything is going into apps. Nowadays because of pandemic, students are sitting at home and they're learning everything through the tablet and mobile phone. So it was anticipated, this is going to happen after 5 years, but because of pandemic, that 5 years were cut short, and in a span of 2-3 months, everybody is learning online. Right? So future is as Saroj said, it's very dynamic. And for education also, there are a lot of opportunities. And as training is concerned, trainings is always, as sir was also saying about, it has to be measured. So you have to measure, what is the impact you're doing. So that's what we also do. At the start of a training, we do a pre-assessment, and the finish, we do a post-assessment to see, how much he has been learned and all that. So future is very bright. It's just that we have to adapt, we have to change, we have to innovate, we have to be very, use the technology in a right way, so that, the opportunity we can encash, right? So the future is very bright in terms of education is concerned. So let's hope for the best.
My question is to Varshitha. The same question when it comes to the hotel industry and the other ventures. Where do you see it going in the future, and what opportunities that you see in the same line?
So in respecting all their views, I would say to our industry, as in hospitality or service, digital would not be of that help for us. Digitally creating a recreation experience is difficult, and it is impossible. So ours is extremely and overly, we are a physical experience what we are providing. So sitting at home, ordering food from Zomato or Swiggy would not give you that pleasure of going around, changing your mind. That is not going to happen. So artificial intelligence is also of not that great help for us. So what I say is what can be done and what can be enhanced, what can be changed is we can cut out the waiting time for our guests. So when they're coming, we don't want them to wait around here, and actually cutting the time staying outside because of this flu or something. So we can try creating an application or something wherein they'll have to book a table here, or any other restaurants and order what they want. So the waiting time for them to come and order and the food to be processed and then coming on their plate would be reduced, and their risk also will be automatically reduced. So what will they have to do is directly come in their car or bike and park it and go and sit in the designated table, have their food, and have a nice experience, enjoy the ambience, and the time is actually going to cut. So that is what one thing can be done, and also automatization is not so it is not so advanced in hospitality industry, so nothing can be done in such manner. But also on putting the positive light, these things are going to change people's mindset, and they would understand how important it is to take a break, go with your family and have some good time outside. So it is all important to also, even you would have experienced staying at one place for like 30 days or even 3 months for some of us. So it is very difficult. So you need a break each week or once in 15 days. It is very important. I think that insight would have been gone to all of our guests or our clients as in, I think that is the development or the change what we can see after this. So that is what I want to put in words.
I think it's a great listen to all the three great speakers on our platform. And about the topic like business today, business tomorrow. These three have transformed their business and they've expanded it, and it's great going with the business. And now the platform is open for the questions and answers. And from the audience, if anybody interested or if you have any questions to the speakers, the three the great businessmen in our platform today, Shekar, Rajan, Bharath, Rajanna, and Varshitha. So please raise your hand. There is an option in Zoom. Raise hand. Please raise your hand to pose the question to the speakers and get the answer. Until then, you have any questions?
Yeah, I have it for Varshitha. Yeah, Varshitha.
Hi. Yeah.
Varshitha, you are into hotel industry, which is something you have on season and off season. Okay, yeah. And the people who are into this industry from a decade or so, they are used to it. Okay, they know to raise the rates and everything to compete and get it in the on season and manage the cost in the off season. But as a young entrepreneur and getting into this industry, how do you think you can be creative and change this industry and cover the cost which you are incurring in the off season through new strategies?
Yeah. Okay, so that is actually a very important question, and which I have to raise myself. So to answer this, okay, so that is a fact. That is an open fact that we run on seasons, and we are doing like 120% of our capacity in on season, and we are doing just 30 or 40% off season. So what is constant here is we have this fixed cost all over the year. We'll have to pay the salaries, we'll have to pay the electricity bills, and we will have to pay our loans, and everything is constant. So what we're going to do is, to create some sort of business off season, we take the initiative or initiate things which will help us lend the business. So as you can see, off-season sales, taking an example of merchandise or any government stores, they give you discounts. So that is what they do to keep them engaged on and off-season time, because that is what all industry have to do. So the same way, what we create is we create some competitions wherein we have a lot of footfalls, and we try to manage the capacity or to create something in the hotel. So to fill in another 50% or 40% of our sales, what we try to do is...
time, 12:30.
Hello?
You're audible, Varshitha?
You're audible. Please continue.
Okay. So I heard some disturbance, so I just cut it. Okay. So to fill in that gap, what we have to do is we have to make a strategical move because this hotel or the service industry will perform its work. It will be like 24/7. So we have no time for our alterations to be done, or the renovations, or the things which we have to do. And to be precise, we have like 7 months of on season, and the remaining will be off season. So for 4 to 5 months we have off season. So at those point of time, we create an opportunity for ourselves to sanitize all the things. We clean the hotel like thoroughly. We get it repainted and all those things. So whatever the extra things we are going to do on season, that is stored for the off season. So extra business what we're going to create, what we are getting, we are going to store for the off season. So that is how it is going to manage.
Okay. And I think like we are come to the end of the video. Now to the final the words from Mr. Shekar, Rajan. Your opinion regarding today's topic, and like where we are heading in the near future in terms of business.
Can you please repeat the last piece? Where are we heading?
Where are we heading as an economy, Indian economy?
I think it's a good question, because I've been following the WTO papers, and I'm trying to read a lot. So this is not going to have a V-shaped growth suddenly. You're not going to, you're rather going to have a U-shaped growth. It will come back. We're still going through the bottom, and it's still not hit the rock bottoms. It will hit the rock bottom. I think by October, November is when we'll really see a low. And then by March, April and May, and June is when you'll see a complete revival. So we wanted to, what I understand is this entire trajectory is going to be shorter than what we did for the, sorry, I'm not able to hear you.
No, sir, please go ahead.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is this trajectory, this thing is going to really test us, and the unorganized sector is going to suffer the most. The people who are a little more organized and can still hold the boat. But again, it's going to be very, very painful. I'm not going to sound gloomy or anything, but I'm going to definitely tell it's going to be a little tough for us. And of course we will come back, because when we saw 2008, when we bounced back, this will also be a faster bounce back. But the pain in the whole process, and people understanding, because yesterday I read an article in Bangalore in one of the newspapers, 50,000 shops are closed. Now that's not a small number. That's not a small number. People with ready-made garments, it is going to have a huge cyclic effect on the whole economy. So it's going to hit all of us. So we're really going to go down, and when it rises, it will rise pretty steadily, but we are not going to see a rocket rise, because money has to come into the system, expenditure has to increase. Because of that, consumption will increase, money has to come into people's hands. Now it's really, really tight. We got to hold on and hope for the best, and that's all we could do. That's the human nature. We got to wait, and you can't do much about it, because if you see every sector, they're kind of losing so much of money. The hotel industry, big brands have just shut. So that's the challenge we're going to face. So we got to hold on. And we got to cut down. And now it's a question of survival. Now we are in survival mode. So we just got to be very, very careful how we survive for the next 4 to 5 months, and then it'll pick up.
I hope everything is going to be okay soon. And,
yes.
Same question is to Bharath, Rajanna. So Bharath, Rajanna, where do you see your industry is going in the near future? And relating that to today's topic, like business today and business.
So as I already told in the last time, that education is the core. Education doesn't mean that it's a college degree. Education in the sense the skill you want to learn. So as far we have 60% of youth population out of 1.3 billion. So the future is very bright. Just that we have to be more dynamic. We have to be more adaptable. We have to be more competitive. We have to be more innovative to attract that opportunity which is going to come up. And just solve a lot of problems, and eventually there'll be a lot of more problems which we don't see today, which going to emerge in next coming years. right? So always be ready to change and be ready to adapt and always innovate. And we Indians are very very good at jugaad. So I'm very opportunist. I'm very positive in that whatever we go down, we'll always bounce up back. Just it's a matter of time. And as far as our segment is concerned, whatever happens, learning never stops. So learning is always going on. So there's a bright future, but strings attached that, there are a lot of things also we have to be taken care of. We have to update ourselves. If we don't update ourselves, we can't, train somebody else, right? So that's a challenge which keeps on changing. So which we address time to time. So future is bright, just that a lot of challenges which we have to tackle correctly.
Just being analytically, there's one more question to Lusa. Being analytically, where do you see the demand for this type of company, Independent.co, is more like whether it was the before or it is now?
Sorry, come again?
Where do you see being analytically about talking about the stages now in the education system? Now, where do you see the EduPinnacle kind of companies are very much important in the system in today's economy?
Okay, so the vision at EduPinnacle is we want to teach the skills which really matters to people in their work. It's not just to join a job. So whatever we do at EduPinnacle empowers all the students as of now, either to join a job, either to join their own, start their own startup. So what all we're gonna do, it's gonna help them anywhere, whatever they do. So the end, the mission or the vision or the thing what we have is to train as much as individuals as possible, which is gonna teach them a lot of hardcore skills, which is gonna really matter to them. For example, if they start their own startup, we teach analytics to them. So they'll be able to analyze what is going wrong, what is going right. So they can analyze well, they can see which customer is doing what, where they're getting more money, where they're losing it more, so that let them start their own startup or join a job. So we want to teach skills which really matters to them in their life, which is going to help them to grow. So in the sense, if they grow, we're also gonna grow with them. So that's our mantra at EduPinnacle always, that teach things which really matters, skill them up in things which really matters to them, and it should always be win-win situation for us. So if they win, we also win the background.
By this, we have come to the end of this talk show. It feels like really great to have Mr. Shekar Rajan, Mr. Bharath Rajanna, and Ms. Varshitha are on our platform, and for their experience, sharing their experience, and taking us to today's topic, business today, business tomorrow. Our platform is very privileged to have all the three on the episode 6 of the Talkshow series. On behalf of the audience today and also our team, Changemaker Talkshow team, I thank Mr. Shekar Rajan for sparing his precious time on this Sunday and coming and talking and sharing this experience with us. Thank you very much, sir, on behalf of Changemaker Talkshow team. And I also thank Mr. Bharath Rajanna for sharing his experience and educating us regarding today's topic, business today and business tomorrow. Thank you very much, Mr. Bharath Rajanna. And I also thank Ms. Varshitha for joining us today for this episode 6 of the Talkshow series. And I also thank all the audience today for sparing your precious time and coming and participating in our show. I thank you, one and all, and have a nice day. And bye-bye till the next episode. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll be coming up with the next episode, episode 8, episode 7 shortly, and we'll be updating you on information which topic we're doing. And thank you. Yeah, the recording of this episode will be made available on YouTube by tonight. I request you all to view and share it with your friends. And let's spread knowledge and let's the spark of revolution here be kept alive. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.